But the main thing is, we've been in the midst of a radical experiment in extremism and ideology as opposed to evidence. Because how have they maintained enough support to get enough people in Congress and hold the White House? By basically scaring everybody in the wake of 9/11 to believe that somehow they were better on security than we are, in spite of the evidence that we now have created more adversaries in the world because of our policy, alienating people and doing what's been done. And to stop people from thinking by getting us diverted into highly divisive issues that don't have anything to do with how you're going to live tomorrow, how you're going to educate your children, what kind of America we're going to live in, we're going to avert the worst consequences of climate change. You're going to deal with all these big issues. So the thing that I loved about the 2006 election in America is Americans started thinking again. For the experiment in extremism in Washington, because you couldn't scare people, you couldn't stampede them, and we had all these Iraq War veterans telling us we ought to get out. But it was a great time, but it is not over. It is not even close to over. And I don't think you can possibly imagine how much is at stake, not only for the welfare of the people of this congressional district, but how Americans look at each other and what is happening in our political system in this election you are about to participate in. Now, I said when I started that Niki spent all this time in a community college, and I like to think of community colleges as a metaphor for how America ought to work. Why? Number one, they admit everybody. Everybody can be a part of it. You go to any community college in the country, you'll see a very diverse group of people. See men and women, people from all backgrounds, and people of all ages. Something which is more important to me now than it used to be. You see that. Number two, they are infinitely flexible. You can't go to a community college anywhere that has a curriculum that's just like it was 5 years ago. Usually not even 2 years ago. Because it's always growing and changing to meet the changing demands of the population. Number three, it is relentlessly in the solutions business. Instead of trying to find a way to divide people, learning for learning's sake, and yes, learning to help the economy. Because if people do well in the economy, then they'll have more money and time to study and learn, and their children will do better. Number four, it's about bringing people together, not taking them apart. There would not be a single, solitary, successful community college in the United States of America if it were run by the philosophy which has animated the extreme ideologues who have dominated the Republican Party in our national politics in the last few years. They all have a focus, they look out to see. Given their views about scientific research, from climate change to stem cell to other things, there might not be any universities left in there. So they're basically saying, okay, well, we couldn't run a community college, we couldn't run a university. We haven't managed this war very well. All we've got left is the political system, where we stay in by scaring you, dividing you, and keeping you in turmoil and telling you why you can't possibly be for our opponents. Please give us this last thing. This is all we can run. The political system. We certainly can't run an emergency like Katrina, right? We can't do that. We are ready to keeping you torn up and upset.